Sorry. Come on in, have a seat. Find a seat. There's a bunch up in front here. I'm sorry, I've had a great summer. I've forgotten all the normal things I normally do every day during the semester, so it's taken me a while to get my brain back up to speed. Anyways, my last name is Brickner, and it's hard to pronounce. It's not spelled the right way, and it's hard to misspell, or it's easy to misspell, so if you feel like you're going to misspell it or mispronounce it, you can just refer to me as Dr. B, and that's normally what students refer to me as. And just so you know, I like to learn as many of your guys' names as possible. And I really enjoy doing that. So if you see me out and about on campus, just come up and say, hey, Dr. B, I'm in your 10:30 a.m. physical science. And then tell me your name. And eventually I'll get it. And I'll learn, I probably won't learn everybody in here, but I'll learn a good fraction of you, a good percentage of the names of everybody in here. I have a PhD in theoretical astrophysics, so for me that means research in black holes, the early universe, the Big Bang Theory, except not that TV show. And just so you know, in case you want to ask me about it, I detest that TV show. So don't, if you want to annoy me, ask me a question about it. But if you don't want to annoy me, don't even mention that show. I hate it. Anyways, quantum field theory, all that kind of stuff. Now, we're not going to be, we may actually talk a little bit about black holes towards the end of the semester, if we have some time. Yeah, quantum field theory, that's for like physics PhDs. Now, I want to introduce our teaching assistants. Up here in front is Darian Fry. Here she is. And here's one of her famous photos from one of her special study groups a couple semesters ago. She's been TAing with me for, I think this is your third year now, yeah. Second year, third year.
It's my fourth semester.
Fourth semester, okay, and so she's great. We have another TA, she's not here yet, Caroline Pittman. Here's a picture of Caroline. You'll be seeing her in this lecture about halfway through. She'll probably come down and sit in the front. And this is from one of her special study groups. And actually, Darian, look at this picture. It's when we have special study groups at the end of the semester for bonus points and so forth. I guess this is in the library. And it's kind of interesting. Look at this picture. Look at it carefully. What do you see? I mean, that's what we're here to do. We're going to be looking at the universe, the physical world, and making observations about what we see. So let's use our eyes right now. What do you see? Calculators, bunch of them. What does that tell you?
This is a
Getting ready for an exam, you want to have a calculator handy. Water, cell phones. They're smiling. So they're having fun. Special study groups is something. I probably won't get to the explanation of special study groups today, and probably Thursday, but computer, let's see, cell phones, markers, notebooks, and it's small. It's that's 6 students and 1 special study group leader, Caroline. Here's another TA that you won't see. So this is her mysterious photo, Leah Rudd. She works online. She probably won't be coming to class, so you probably won't see her. And this is the last you'll see of her. So she walks around incognito most of the time. Now, supplemental instruction. Supplemental instruction is something that the Student Academic Resource Center operates. And I want to invite Kristen to give you a little bit of a blurb about supplemental instruction. And our supplemental instruction leader, Maria Spinetti. Go ahead, and I'll turn the lights up.
Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me in the back okay? Okay, awesome. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about supplemental instruction that you have for this course. I like to kind of gauge my audience, so if you've either heard of or been to SI before for any class, if you wouldn't mind raising your hand. Okay, good. So about a quarter to a third of you. So we'll do a little bit of an explanation of SI. What we normally do is we hire an SI leader that sits in the class with you. This is a nice bonus because they get to hear exactly what you're talking about that day in class. They sit through all the classes with you. So Maria's actually here with me. Dr. B has 2 sections of the class, and I think she'll actually be sitting in the other section most of the time. But I do want you to meet her today so that you could see her. What we do with SI is we'll have them sit through the lecture. The SI leader has already taken the course, already received an A. They work closely with the instructor, and then they hold these study sessions for you. So every week, starting usually about halfway through the second week, there will be 4 study sessions consistently all the way up until the end of the term. We scatter them throughout the week, so hopefully most of you can make it to at least a session or 2. And that schedule, normally what we do is we'll post that online, but also Maria or Dr. B will have that posted for you as well, or we'll make announcements. So there should be a few ways you can get to the schedule. I always like to note that it's completely free for students. We work through the Student Academic Resource Center with supplemental instruction. So there are no fees anytime. You can always just stop by if you want. And it's not necessarily if you're just struggling or doing really poorly. It's for everyone. It can help everyone get better grades. It's a great opportunity to collaborate, work together. And Maria's trained not to re-lecture, so it won't just be you all sitting there and listening to her. It's very collaborative. You can do problems together, come in with questions. So really, it's a great experience. I always encourage you all just to try it out, see if you like it. It normally helps out a lot of students. And statistically speaking, across all of the classes at UCF, students who go regularly, so on average at least once or twice a week, their grades average out to about a half letter grade to a letter grade higher than students who don't go to SI at all. And that's just an average through all of UCF, but it does tend to be really helpful as far as your grades go as well. The schedule should be posted by, we hope, next week or sometime during next week. So keep an ear out for another announcement either in here or perhaps over email or on web courses. We'll let you know when the sessions are. But I do want to give a few moments to Maria here to talk to you a little bit about her experience.
Hi guys, I'm Maria Spinetti. I'll be your SI this semester. I took this class last semester and I thought it was pretty fun. I think you will like it, and if you ever doubt if supplemental instruction will work for you, I really encourage you all to come at least to one session, see if it works, and if it does, then keep going. It really helped me a lot when I was doing this class. So I really encourage you to come and just sit through the session. Yep.
Any questions before I head out? Yes.
Where would the sessions be?
Where? Good question. So when we publish the schedule, we'll have all the room locations with the times. Normally it's 4 50-minute sessions. We scatter them out, and then the rooms are also scattered. So it could potentially be in any classroom around campus, but that should all be labeled for you when it comes out. Yes?
What time is it? What time?
It depends on the session. So normally we'll scatter them. Normally we'll try to do like a few earlier, a few later. That way, no matter when your class is, hopefully you'll be able to go to a session or 2. But we're still in the process of scheduling, so the full schedule should come out for you next week. Yes?
Will we post on web courses?
That's up to Dr.
Yes.
B. Yes,
Yes,
it
it
will be
will.
posted on web courses.
It'll be everywhere. Okay.
Any other questions? Yes? It depends on what you want to do. So sometimes, if there's a really big sticking point a couple of lectures ago, you can come in and ask questions about that. If you all don't have any questions, you all might go over what you went over in the most recent lecture. So it's really about everyone. So we really focus a lot on student-led sessions. So Maria won't come in with like, oh, here's what we're going to do today, with time to listen. She'll ask you what you want to do, and you can really come with any question from the whole class. So that's one of the good things about it, I think. All right, well, thank you so much for your time. Maria's going to stay this class with you today. In the future, I believe she'll be attending the 12 o'clock section. But if you have any questions at all, feel free to contact Maria through SART, or feel free to contact me. My name's Kristen. I'm the coordinator down there. So if you have anything else, you're welcome to contact me. But otherwise, I hope you have a great class. Thank you.
Okay, Chris.
Thanks, everyone.
just to reinforce what Kristen said, SI is great, and it really will help you if you can make it. If you can't make it, you can't make it. But and we won't know the schedule until maybe next Tuesday. Might not even be up until next Wednesday. And what they do is, after drop ad finishes on Friday, they take all the empty class. They cancel some sections and stuff. Some rooms around campus are open. They find them, and then they park the SI sessions in there. So we won't know, but it will always be available to you on the first slide of every lecture. And I'll post it also in web courses on the SI page or something like that. So you'll always be able to see it. And as I said, Maria is going to do a great job. She was a fine student last semester, and she knows the ropes. She knows almost all of my tricks. So she'll be able to really help you guys. Because it's like, especially with exams, everybody gets really nervous. Dr. B, his exams, and stuff. But she'll really help you out with that. Are you on? Okay, what I want you to do is tweet student questions if they ask, and then my answer. Okay? All right, let's take a look at the syllabus. Maria, can you help hand out these? Darianne and Maria are going to hand, and just hand them out in bunches, and hand them to your neighbor. That's this big white pile here, and just hand them in and towards the back, and everybody will get a bunch. Yeah, Maria, just hand them out in bunches, and if there's leftovers in your row, pass them back to the back, and everybody will get one eventually. And we'll just go over the syllabus for a few minutes. We'll have some homework tonight in web courses. The web courses website is not completely configured yet, but there's a few things in there and just enough. And the reason that hey, you guys in the back, come sit down. You don't have to worry about it. I'm not offended if you come and sit down. Come, there's seats up here in front. Just find a place. It's all right. Yo, come on, make yourself at home. The first week of classes is always kind of topsy-turvy. Students adding, students dropping, stuff like that. And so we won't get into the nitty-gritty until Thursday. But that's all right. We're going to go over the syllabus today, have a little bit of homework, talk about the textbook and so forth. Yeah, find a seat, you guys. And if you come late, I don't mind, walking down here to the front and finding a spot. And if you have to leave early, I don't really mind that either, except you miss some instruction, but that's up to you. By the way, everybody in here is here voluntarily, so there's no, you can walk out of class anytime you want. And but at the same token, if you do that, you're going to miss some instruction, sometimes something important. So we'll just get these syllabuses. Here's the top of the syllabus here. And you can see the TAs are listed there. My office is room 156 in the Physical Sciences building. And our office hours are actually going to be right next door to that in room 158, which is a little bit bigger, from 11 to 1 p.m. on Wednesdays. And I'll be there tomorrow. If you want to drop by Physical Sciences building, room 158. Yep, I'll be there, and we could talk about anything. Raise your hand if you don't have a syllabus. A couple up here, Dare. Okay. Just a few on this row. All right. Anybody else not have a syllabus? Okay, if you have leftovers, don't mix them in with these. If you have leftovers, send them over to the aisle, either to the left or to the right. Maria, you can sit down and we'll take it from here. Thanks. Get one to this guy. Send your if you have leftovers, send them to the aisles, and we'll collect them. All right. Anyways, back to the syllabus. Yeah, the office hours tomorrow, all semester until December. You know, it's hot and sweaty out there today. What is it, 95 out there already? Heat index of 105. But by the end of the semester, we're going to be freezing our off in December. Well, maybe. And it's going to fly. It is going to go fast. And so let's try to stay organized and stuff. Office hours 11 to 1. And the way that I normally do office hours is I am there ready to work with anybody that comes in. But I don't have an agenda. You have the agenda. So if you have a homework problem or something with the textbook that you want to talk about, it's not working right or something, we'll talk about that. Whatever you want to talk about. Welcome. Have a seat anywhere. By the way, is anybody's birthday this week? Raise your hand if you have a birthday this week. 1, 2. Statistically, there's got to be some scaredy cats in here that are not raising their hands. All right, so you guys, so one here and one over here and over here. Great. Without further ado, let's say happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear whoever your name is. Happy birthday to you. All right, that's good. Now let's get back to the boring stuff. All right, course description. You know, I had a student on the student evaluations last semester. I read all of them from spring. And one of them said, I thought this course was supposed to be about rocks. It was all about physics and chemistry and stuff. But this is actually the official course description for physical science. Fundamental laws of mechanics, heat, waves, electricity, magnetism, chemical processes and equations, properties of gases, liquids, solids, and solutions. And it's 3 credit hours. So that's the basic stuff that we're going to go through. Here's the textbook, and it's an ebook. I wrote it specifically for this class. Most of it anyways. We have a few borrowed chapters at the end. The ISBN is there, and a little bit further down the page is the actual website where you can get it, or you can, and it's e-text only. It's an ebook only. So you got to buy one of those little codes and then, go to the website and activate it. And then it'll download and you have to download the software and stuff. It works pretty nice, actually. Okay, email. Don't send me conventional email. Just message me in the web courses system, the inbox. And the reason for that is the federal educational privacy laws forbid me from discussing your grades with you on email. It is considered not secure. But web courses is secure. All the messaging there is secure. It's all password protected. So, just, and I'm like on web courses 24/7, seems like. So that's the best way to contact me. By the way, I don't have my telephone number on here. And there's a reason for that. I'm listed in the UCF directory, but I'm hardly ever in my office, and even less frequently do I actually check my voicemail. I don't even know how to do it from I guess there's a way to do it from off. I mean, I could do it in my office if I'm in my office, but so sending me voicemail, definitely not efficient. Email, very efficient. Okay, Instagram. We're going to do snapshots, hopefully. Darian and Caroline and they'll be dropping those into the Instagram account, hopefully, if we can do that. Just different things, like if we're doing demonstrations or if I have a piece of equipment, you won't be able to see it in the YouTube, but through Instagram you will be able to see it. Twitter. Darianne is going to be tweeting into this. Are you on yet? Okay. She is going to be tweeting as we talk in class, basic things that we go over, student questions and so forth. That's what she's going to be asking. By the way, if you have a question at any point, just raise your hand. This is the time to ask. Well, okay, go ahead.
My last question is your office hours, that first come first serve or by appointment?
The question is, are you tweeting this in? Excellent. Good. See, because you guys can't, the people in the YouTube can't hear the student questions. I can hear them, and people up front can, but people in the back can't, and nobody that's listening on the internet can hear it. So the question is, are office hours first come, first serve, or is it just drop in? The answer is, it is drop in. Just come, and it's usually not that crowded. So, and if there's more than 2 or 3 people, we just go through. People are going to be normally interested in the same kind of questions, and we just go person to person. One person asks a question, and we deal with it. Next person asks a question. Homework 3, problem number 7. How do you do that? And then we go to the third person, and then the fourth, and then we go around. We just do that as long as they stay there. And so it's really good. We have a big marker board, and we write diagrams and equations and stuff. And so, but yeah, just come, and you don't have to make an appointment. Okay. By the way, you may have noticed that I'm usually, for this lecture, I'm usually sitting out in the hallway in one of the chairs, getting ready for lecture. And if you want to come and bug me then, it's not really official office hours, but you can come and ask me a question if you want. All right. And also, I should tell you, we have Physical Science 1121 lecture, Section 2, right after this. So after the class here is definitely not a good time because we're going to be having people coming and going. But before class, yeah, that's not too bad. Did you have a question over here? Somebody? Yeah, question.
So I went to your Twitter. Do you just have a very unhealthy obsession with Sharknado or something? Because I'm just seeing tweets that just say checking for any Sharknadoes. The nature of sharks means there's a Sharknado at any time. Sharknado alert. Just wondering.
You seem not to believe in the Sharknadoes. Do you want to talk about it, or? No, it's just we're just testing. It's just instead of typing in testing 1, 2, 3, it's kind of like a little IQ test. People will notice it, and you pass the IQ test. You did notice it, the Sharknado effect. So yeah, but it's normally going to be stuff from class. So yeah, we're just getting the TAs on in the team, and so I told them to type something in about Sharknadoes, and just so that I know that they're, because normally it's going to be physics stuff. So, another question. Yes?
Do you require the ebook, or would you be able to buy the actual book?
The question was, do you require the ebook, or will you actually be able to purchase the hard copy? There is no hard copy version. It's only ebook. And you know what, guys? I'll say this on the podcast. I made it an ebook because I want to keep the price down so that it wouldn't. Because it's very annoying to me that textbooks, not even really big ones, are so expensive. But it's still expensive in the ebook version. And so it burns my grits. But now, the bookstore, does anybody here work at the bookstore? Yeah. I saw one guy raise his hand and then bring it back down. He doesn't want anybody to know he works at the bookstore, I guess. But the bookstore sometimes messes things up. And one thing that it's not really messing up, but they make a lot of money off of you guys. And because what you're going to find is the publisher's website is significantly cheaper than the bookstore. And the problem with that is some people have to buy at the bookstore for their financial aid. So they're SOL, they got to buy the expensive version. And you guys, you guys won't be able to benefit from it, but I'm working on a version that is published differently and is very inexpensive. Question?
When I ordered my textbook from the bookstore, it was on back order and had no price available.
Yeah. The bookstore, have you checked lately?
Yeah.
You didn't ask a question, but the question was, what do I do? The bookstore had it on back order, and and I was in the same position last week as well. They didn't get the stuff until last Friday, so. But you can you can go to the publisher's website. You can buy it right now if you want. But if you've already ordered it through the bookstore, I guess you're stuck. Question? Should I get a computer so I can follow along? You don't have to. I mean, it's nice to have one. You're going to want to do your homework in web courses on the computer, but you can do that at the library, whatnot. Okay, so Twitter handle. Final exam. Yeah, both sections are going to be taking exams at the same time. December 10th, 1 o'clock. So that's Saturday during the free period, so-called. But we don't have the room yet. It might be this room, or it might be down on the first floor. It might be over in classroom building 1. Hopefully in the next week or so, I will be able to announce the exact location. But the date, December 10th. Pencil that in and do not forget it. Engrave that in your mind. Because if you miss that, you are toast. I mean, you got to make it. You can't, because everybody's going to be taking it at the same time. Both sections, so that's 600 plus students. It's going to be crazy, but that's what we're going to do. All right, and we'll be talking about the final. This is not the last time we'll be talking about it. I'll probably be giving you the location in a couple weeks. Okay, homework. It's going to be in web courses, and ordinarily it's due at the beginning of the next lecture. So if I give you an assignment on a Tuesday, it'll be due at Thursday for this class at 10:30 a.m. Now, the homework that you're going to have tonight is a special one, assignment 0, and it's going to run until the end of the semester. It's the one that we set up so that the federal government can monitor your compliance with the system. I don't know what happens if you're out of compliance, but I guess they take away your financial aid or something like that. It's kind of obnoxious, but anyways, we got to do it. And it's pretty simple little homework assignment. Now, but the next homework assignment after that, it's going to be due at the next lecture. Review assignments. I'm going to do something new, Dare and Maria. I'm going to give a review assignment before each midterm. And I have been doing that by practice before the final, a big mega review. But I think I'm going to do a web courses homework assignment, but it'll be a little bit bigger than usual. And it will run from the Tuesday before the midterm until 9 a.m. on the day of the midterm. And it'll be a study tool for you so you can, kind of go over stuff one more time. And if you have a study partner, go over it with them and stuff. And hopefully it'll sharpen you up a little bit for the exam. All right, now questions about any of that stuff? Okay, here's the website for the publisher, and I highly recommend that you use this. It's like, actually, last semester it was like $30 cheaper. I don't know if it's, than the bookstore. And sorry, I didn't get this until Friday either, right? So if you've already ordered through the bookstore, who's already got their book downloaded and stuff? Nobody? Okay. Who's ordered through the bookstore? All right. Now, the bookstore is a very nice bookstore, but many of you prefer to save money. This is the one that saves you some dinero. All right. And so yeah, definitely write that down. It's on your syllabus. So. Okay, policies. Let's get down to some of the nitty gritty. Okay, golden rule and the UCF creed. So that, every once in a while I have to blaze somebody's, what, for cheating or unethical behavior. And by the way, this is the beginning of the semester. At the other end of the semester, after the final exam, I'll just put it this way. Don't ever ask an instructor after the final exam is finished and on the books if there's anything more that you can do for your grade to get a better grade. You would be asking the instructor to do something that's unethical. And that's, I don't think that's in any of these pages, but it's something that I go through every semester. Students, Dr. B, I'll do anything, you got to have that B, and I'm sympathetic to that, but the time for that is September, October, November. Take care of business then you won't be in that situation at the end of the semester in December. Okay, accommodations. I want to read this one verbatim. Let me get out my specs. UCF is committed to providing reasonable accommodations for all persons with disabilities, and I share that same commitment. Students with disabilities who need accommodations must be registered with Student Accessibility Services, SAS, over in Farrell Commons, and the phone numbers are there on the syllabus. And you have to do that before requesting accommodations from me. Students registered with SAS that need accommodations must initiate contact through SAS and Knights Access. There's the website for SAS. You could start working on it if you haven't already. Now, I've already got a bunch of Dear Professor letters for about 5 or 6 students in Section 1, Section 2. But if you haven't done yours yet, go ahead and get that started. No accommodations will be provided until the student has used SAS and Knights Access to request accommodations. But we do that every semester, and it works good. But you got to get it rolling. You got to get the paperwork rolling. And once you got that squared away, if that applies to you, we'll get the testing set up, and everything will go pretty good. We do it every semester. It's not a problem. Questions about that? All right. As you can see, this is a pretty full class. Actually, I see a lot of empty seats, but it seems like it's packed. Let's talk about attendance on exams. This one is verbatim as well. At UCF, academics comes first. Attendance at exams is mandatory. University excused absences are for religious observances. Okay, so for instance, Rosh Hashanah or something. Intercollegiate activities and athletics. So debate team or tennis or something. Military call-ups, so if you're in reserve or ROTC or something. And university verified family or medical emergency. Now that family emergency is like hurricanes, okay? And Raise your hand if you're from Florida and you were here in 2004 for Francis, Charlie, and Jean. Charlie, Francis, and Jean. Oh, that's a bunch of you. And UCF was hit pretty hard by Charlie at the very beginning of the semester. And then Jeannie and Francis and Jeannie came through, and there was a lot of students. You know, I had one student up in Deltona, and he called me up. He caught me at my office, and he said, Dr. B, you know, I know we got an exam today, but I can't. My house is surrounded by water. And I said, okay, well, you know, and we had to do a lot of excused absences that semester. But short of that, or you know, short of being in the hospital or something like that, you know, that's a medical excuse. You know, it's not an excused absence. Excuses that are not legitimate are like going to a wedding, plane tickets that your parents got you, your job off campus. Your job off campus is not top priority. Academics is top priority. Okay, so you have to make arrangements with your BOSS to take exams on the schedule that we have got. And if you can't, you can't. And you either take the hit and drop one exam, or maybe switch to the other section or to the online section, you know, or maybe go for it again in spring semester. So those things are no good ski. But religious observances, college stuff, military, and family or medical emergency are kosher. Now, dropped exams. It is physics department policy that making up missed work will only be permitted for university-sanctioned activities and bona fide medical or family reasons, as I alluded to as I mentioned in the previous paragraph. Authentic justifying documentation must be provided in every case, and for university-sanctioned activities in advance. Now, for those of you that are in a team or a club, and it doesn't really matter if you miss a regular lecture, but it's the exams, and the dates are on your handout. Those are the ones that you have to be excused for if you're absent. All right. Now, if you're on a team or a club, your advisor or your coach will give you something called the program verification handout. And that'll have the schedule of all your events, your travel, or whatever it happens to be, and your name. Okay, now you'll give that to me, and that will be your university documentation. All right. Now, if you're in the military, you can ask your commanding officer for documentation. And you know, I did that a couple times over the summer with my online class. This is a big class. If there is a death in the family, I hate to say it, but every semester, we go through one or two, and what you would have to document is like something from the funeral home or an obituary in the newspaper. Right? If it's medical, then like a doctor's note or something like that. But most students are pretty healthy until exam week. So raise your hand if you're a freshman. If this is newbies everywhere. Okay, now what you guys are going to find in exam week, I'll just give you a sneak preview. Some of you are going to be studying like maniacs and not sleeping and not eating and getting dehydrated, and you're going to end up in the student health center hooked up to an IV or worse, or you're going to sleep through the alarm and biff it on your final. Don't do that, all right? You guys that are not newbies, you know what it's like. But all this, it's just stress. People get sick in finals week because of the stress, the physical stress of it. Okay, let's keep going here. At the discretion of the instructor, the makeup may take reasonable and appropriate form, including but not limited to the following: a replacement exam, replacing the missed work with the same score as a later exam, and allowing a dropped exam. All right, now circle that phrase, allowing a dropped exam, because that is what we are going to do. This paragraph is the same for all physics courses, well, at least it's supposed to be there on the syllabus for all physics courses. But what we do in this class is a dropped exam. Now, most of you are going to be here for all three, so don't sweat it. 80 or 90%. But some of you will miss a midterm. And whether it's excused or unexcused, if you miss one, that's going to be your dropped exam. All right? And that's how we handle it. So there's no makeup. There's no early exams. There's no late exams. There's just the exams on the schedule if you make it. Now, if you have 2 excused absences, then we got to do something drastic. But we hardly ever have to do that unless there's a hurricane or something like that. So most of you are going to be at all 3 midterms and the final. A few of you will miss 1 midterm, but you'll have the other 2. And that's how we deal with the absences. So don't ever ask me, you guys in the back on Facebook, don't see they're going to come up and ask me. They're going to miss a midterm. Don't come up and ask me about a makeup. I never do makeups. I just don't do it. This is how we handle makeups and stuff. We don't have makeups. This is how we handle an absence. Okay. Here's the exam schedule. Let's look at this carefully. This is what you must engrave in your mind. You can't afford to blow any of these. And if you know in advance, you gotta, if it's university or hopefully not medical, you gotta try to plan in advance. So most of you are gonna be here for all 3. And I highly encourage everybody to get in here for all 3. So if you have to come in a wheelchair, and sit there to take the exam, please, do your utmost. If they have to fly you in with a helicopter and lower you by ropes and tear away the roof and lower you down into the lecture hall, yeah, do it, because you definitely want to be here for all 3. I'm exaggerating. I mean, you wouldn't do that, but I mean, just try your utmost to be here for all exams. And because if you have 3 exams on the books and one of them stinks, which happens, that's the one we drop. But if you only have 2 of them on the books and you've missed one, and one of the ones that you have on the books is stinky, you're stuck with it. All right? So you don't want to be in that situation if you can. All right? Now, let's talk about this. You will find this course challenging but not impossible. The exams will contain plenty of basic material so that if you do the normal amount of studying, faithfully come to lecture and do your homework every time, you will find exams tough to flunk. But yet, even if you go above and beyond the call of duty in attending office hours, discussing homework and web courses discussion every week, review all lectures on YouTube, and carefully study all the classwork questions, you still will find the exams tough to ace. So that's my exam writing method. Tough to flunk, tough to ace. And it usually works out pretty good. I never curve grades. I don't do it. And that's because I use this method. All right, so most of you will be somewhere in between here. It is tough to ace my exams. It happens. But not a lot. All right? But if you want to ace my exam, go for it. It can be done. But you got to really, you really got to take care of business like Bruce Lee over here. Okay, here are the things that go into your grade. I count up the number of points you have at the end of the semester. Now, these are regular points, not bonus points. We'll have a few bonus points along the way. But for regular points, we have homework, we have class participation, and a bunch of exams. So up here in the upper right, let me get my cursor up here. Come on, cursor. Where's my cursor? There it is. How do I get my cursor? My cursor's not going over there. can't get my cursor over there. Come on. Okay, I guess I don't have a cursor today. We're going to have to. It's a new computer. I got to get it set up for lecture a little bit more. Anyways, upper right-hand corner, best 2 out of 3 midterms. Now, that's going to be 100 points out of 250. That's 40% of your grade for the semester. The final exam is 100 points. That's another 40%. And then homework and class participation, clicking, are 25 and 25. And those two will add up to 20%, 10% each. Okay? And questions about this? Or exams in general? Yes? That's right. You just come to class. And the final's at a special time. That's usually the case. Yeah. So, but yeah, midterms just come to class. They're always on Thursdays. And the schedule's published here in the syllabus. So, another question. Okay. I want to point something out to you. Look at the class participation and homework, 25 and 25. Now, you don't realize this yet, but most of you are going to clean up on those two. So there's going to be a lot of you that get 25 out of 25 on class participation and 25 out of 25 on homework. That's 50 out of 50. That's like another midterm that you get 50 out of 50. Pointage-wise, it's equivalent to that. But it's easy to get. So there'll be a lot, and every semester it's the same. There's a lot of students, 50 out of 50 between those two categories. 49 out of 50, 48 out of 50, and so on. And so and that's why I always say, come to class faithfully, and your participation grade will be up at 25 out of 25. Do your homework faithfully every time, and your homework will be 25 or out of 25 or pretty close to that. All right. Now let's keep going with exam procedures. All right. For the exam, you have to bring a number 2 pencil and a good eraser. We'll use the UCF Scantron, the one that's raspberry colored, and it has the UCF logo on it. And bring your iClicker 2. By the way, this is the iClicker 2. All right. Raise your hand if you've got one already. Okay, good bunch of you. Okay, don't use the old iClicker. The iClicker 2 is the one that has a little display screen. And that will allow us to type in numbers and letters, and you can even write equations in there. Question? We are not going to use Reef. Yeah, so yeah, you got to get one of these babies. Now, about the iClicker, you can borrow your roommate's if he's not using it this hour. I mean, if he has Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes and you only have Tuesday, Thursday, you're in like Flint. Okay, just borrow it and register it in web courses and stuff. You can use a basic scientific calculator like a TI-30 XIIS. And I was over at the bookstore last week looking at the textbook situation, and I went strolling over to the calculator area, and man, they got a ton of calculators, $15, whatnot, you're good. So get you one of those. Anything with a square root key ought to be fine, but no cell phones. You're not allowed to use a cell phone during exam. So your cell phone calculator, no, can't use that. And if you forget your calculator, most of the time it'll slow you down like by a minute because there's not a whole lot of calculations going on a midterm. It's mostly multiple choice and matching and stuff like that. But there will be a couple some simple ones and maybe one or two tough ones. But if you have to do 6th grade long division, it's not going to kill you. Question?
Would a graphing calculator be okay?
Question was, would a graphing calculator be okay? And the answer to that is YES, yes. Not a problem. I mean, if you know how to operate it, good. I mean, it's overkill. It's way more than you need, but yeah, if you have one, yeah, you can use it. I know a lot of profs are fussy about that, but I'm not. Okay. Because having a calculator, and by the way, let me give you another tip about exams. I'm not going to ask for a show of hands, but I know many students like flashcards and Quizlet and stuff for studying, and you know, that's not going to really help you a whole lot on my exams. Now, anatomy class or history class, maybe. I can see that. But in this class, you're going to have to think on your, when you're going to be sitting, but I mean, the saying is thinking on your feet. You're going to have to think on the fly and solve things and figure things out using physics principles that you've never tackled before. Now, that's on some of the tests. The hardest questions will be like that. And to get an A, you've got to be able to hack your way through that and think. And the flashcards and stuff, you know, I know a lot of you guys like them, but they're not going to help a whole lot. Maybe a little bit, but not a lot. Okay, number 5, final exam is cumulative, mandatory, and it can't be dropped. So the only ones that can be dropped are one of your midterms, if you've taken 3. All right. The final exam, everybody's going to be on the boards or on the books for the final. Final admonition, you're well advised to make sure your schedule is clear on Saturday, December 10th until supper time. Because our exam schedule, which is on the last page, it goes from 1 until 3:50 p.m. So if if you're flying out of town at 5 o'clock, you probably ain't going to make it because you're going to need all the time on the final, most likely. So don't schedule airline tickets, cruises, or work at your job until well after 4 p.m. And because I have your first priority until about 3:50. All right. Questions about any of that? Yes, over here.
When are we going to start needing to have the eye clicker?
I have an eye clicker. Who has their eye clicker today? Good. I have an eye clicker question set up. We'll be doing some practice questions, and I'll announce the official start of clicking. It'll probably be the Tuesday after Labor Day. Okay. So I'll give you guys a week or two, but we'll have practice questions for bonus points before that. Okay. So we'll have a practice question today. You know, it's not going to be physics and stuff, but yeah. Question. The question was, can you get this at the bookstore? And the answer is YES. But has anybody gotten it at Gray's bookstore or CB? You got it at Gray's? Who's gotten it? Anybody got it at CB&S? Have they got them over there? Anybody? Bueller? They do? Yeah. Okay. So maybe CB&S. I don't know where they're cheapest, but you can ask Grant. Question.
I have to take a class over summer for my clicker. Would I need to get it re-registered or anything for this class? Or
The question was, I used it already over the summer for another class. Do I have to re-register it? And the answer to that is yes. But there's a little tab inside our web courses. It says iClicker. And all you do is you click that page, and type in your serial number on the back, and it works good. And then you're registered. Question. Homework is based off performance if you get it correct. And so I'll probably be going over homework tomorrow. So, but yeah. Question. That was your question? Go ahead. No. Hold on. The guy in the blue shirt. Blue shirt man. What's your name? Dan? Danny? Daniel. Daniel in the Lions Den. Okay.
Yeah, I tried to
Are you on a Mac? It's supposed to be working. It sometimes takes a little while to load. Are you, yeah, so are you on a Windows box? Yeah, I don't know. Where are you using Explorer, Internet Explorer? Or Chrome or, yeah, it's supposed to work in Chrome. It's fussy, it's temperamental because it has to link up to the iClicker server and then back, so sometimes it's kind of slow to load. Especially in here, I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, you and about 1,000 or 2,000, think about it, how many thousands of students are in this building alone. This is about 300, and there's 6 or 7 rooms this size in this building. And right now they're probably all full. So that's a lot of people trying to, do that. So, but Safari is kind of slow. You got to give it a little bit of time. Okay, red hair man with the specs in the back. Yo. Yeah. No, there'll be a deadline for registering it. Like as I said over here, the deadline for registering will be, I think, the Tuesday after Labor Day, probably. I'll announce that in class. So you're not going to be, if it's not registered today, don't sweat it. You'll be all right. Question all the way in the back. I don't want to talk about that yet. I'll get to Galileo. We'll get to it. Don't worry. I want to talk about exams, actually. Okay. Question.
Both on that and on the schedule on UCF to look up your exams, if both of those say that our exam is on December 6th from 10 to 12:50.
Oh, you know what? That's the UCF. Yeah, so the UCF calendar, I'll have to change that. We go by this. We're going to go by this. And those things are automatically set up. So I'm going to have to, I haven't done this Common Hour final for a few years. So, but December 10th, definitely. Okay, and that is also, that should be in Galileo.
Yeah, it has it on both dates. It says it both.
All right, I'll go double check that.
On December 10th,
Yeah, I'll double check that. Thank you for letting me know about that. All right, here's the grade scale. So we have 250 regular points for the semester. 2 out of 3 midterms, final, homework, clicking, 250 total, possible. If you get 225 or more, that's a semester A. And by the way, I don't give pluses or minuses out. I'm not against it, but the physics department tends to be straight letter grades, no pluses or minuses. I don't know why. B is 75%, so that rounds up to 178. It's 177.5, so for us, that means if you get 178 or more, ding, you got a B. C is 60%, so that's 150 out of the 250 points. D is half the points, 125. Below that is an F, so fewer than 125. I don't give out a lot of Fs. I just don't. And I don't give out a lot of Ds. And the reason for that is basically the tough to ace, tough to flunk principle. Most people are pretty solid, but the thing that brings grades up most of all is homework and clicking. And most people, they do fine on that. Even if they don't have 25 out of 25, still 20 out of 25 is still pretty nice. That's still a nice chunk of change. So the only people that get Fs are people that don't come to class. And there's reasons for that. They're in the hospital and they have a medical withdrawal or, whatever. There's reasons, And usually it's because they don't come to class and they don't do homework and stuff for whatever reason. Some people just blow off, and I've done that myself. When I was a sophomore, I registered for a class, and we were on the quarter system. And the quarter system, the first quarter ended at Thanksgiving, and then you went home from Thanksgiving until after Christmas, till New Year's. And I registered for this class in bluegrass music, and my buddies talked me into it in November, and then I forgot all about it because I was taking all kinds of physics classes, and I forgot all about it, Darian, until like March, the end of the second quarter. So I went to the prof and I said, I forgot I even had this class. And he flunked me. God, that hurt. And I appealed it, and they said, tough, you know what. And that's on my transcript. So it happens to the best of us. All right, let's talk about using iClicker. Let's do a session. Turn your clicker on. And let's see. Type in base frequency AA. So right now mine is set to BB. So what you do is you hold the power button down until the big square flashes, and then you type in AA. And you'll get a check mark, and that means you're ready to go. All right? So here's the question. Vote for the Chuck Norris fact that you think is the best. So this is somebody was over here asking about it. This is a practice question, Chuck Norris. But eventually, we'll have a few more practice questions and start having physics questions. And then after Labor Day, we'll have the official start. And I can't show you this scoreboard here, but let me see if I can move this. I can't move it over. Oh, here it is. Okay, here's the scoreboard. So you can see that the question's been running for a minute, and 41 people have voted, and 46, so that's a bunch of yous. That's good. All right. And let's see. I'll give you 10 seconds to vote. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. So let me close this session. All right. And let's look at the voting. Here's the voting. So a lot of people voted for D, some for C. Let's see. Doesn't. So most people, yeah, Chuck Norris is already following you. Chuck Norris, Texas Ranger. Anyway, so there's the scores. And of course, the correct answer is, in my opinion, is this one. So, anyway, that's a clicker question, and that's how it works. So, get your clickers, register them in web courses. By the way, Blue Shirt Daniel, damn, did it load? Okay. So maybe do it from the library or something. Sign into web courses and do it from the library. Question?
I did it from my phone and it worked.
Okay. All right. So you could do it from. Wait, you guys were doing that while I was talking? Excellent. Very efficient. Very nice. Okay, it works from your phone, but it doesn't work from Daniel's laptop. So, I mean, no offense, Daniel, but it's happened to me too. So I'm just. Anyways, if it doesn't work for you on your laptop or something, go to the library and sign into web courses, and they should work. Question?
Do you have to press the send button for it?
The question was, do you have to press the send button for it to work? And the answer to that is, on multiple choice, no. But we will be doing text entry and numeric entry, and when you're entering numbers, yes. When you're entering text, yes, because it doesn't know when your number is complete or your text. So, but for this one, yeah, it's just a click. And question here.
How do you confirm that
How do you confirm if your iClicker question is in? what you look for is a little check mark. You vote A, B, C, or D, and then you get a little check mark. Now your iClicker, just so you know how iClicker works, iClicker goes on the basis of participation. All right, so I count up how many questions, starting with at Labor Day, approximately, how many you answer out of all the questions I ask. So if we have like 100 questions between Labor Day and December 2nd, the last day of classes, and if you answer 85 of those, whether incorrectly or correctly, you'll get 25 out of 25. That is how participation works. Now, there's some leeway built into the system. You don't have to have 100% participation. You only have to have 85%. So that means if you miss one or two regular lectures, not exams, but regular lectures, and so you're not there to answer, 4 or 5 of them, and then the next day 3 or 4, you're probably going to be okay and still get 25. But once you get more than that, it's going to start dropping you down. All right? So class participation, and I'll work through an example with you on Thursday. But class participation with so get your clicker, get it registered, and Thursday we'll finish the syllabus. We'll do some observation with hydrogen. And so for your homework, get the textbook, get the clicker, and read the intro in the textbook. And we'll start with that on Thursday. You're dismissed.